Hello, everybody. Welcome to Investing with Jimmy. Today's episode is going to be dedicated to Nike, that is NKE. And I want to give you my opinion of Nike. This is made on April 11th, 3:25 p.m., towards the end of the day. I purchased Nike two times in the last week. I bought it at the first time I paid 55 and I sold it at $58, and then I rebought it when it hit $52.56. So I was able to buy it really, really low. Now today it did go down. Let's look at the 1 day. So you can see on the 1 day the open was 54.40, and it did go down to where is the low of the day? Bear with me here. The low of the day was, usually it shows me right here, but for some reason it's not. But I can tell you it was around 52.60 was the low of the day. That is the lowest it's been in quite some time. So as you can see, it's finally, it's battling to be even or in the green today. And if you look at a 5-year chart, let's take a look. And we literally are at a 5-year low, a 5-year low. So the day's range is 52.86 to 55.03. So this stock, if we take a look at this stock, and I'm going to give you some inside information. Obviously, we have this whole thing going on with the Chinese on these tariffs. And I'll fill you in on Nike's situation and why I'm not really worried about this, and I'll tell you why. Okay, so on March 17th, you're talking less than a month ago. This stock opened at $72. So we're talking less than 60 days ago. Okay, so here on February 24th, the stock was at $79.43. And you're talking less than 2 months ago. This is a stock that used to be $121 in December 2 years ago. So that's a year and a half ago, technically. A year and a half ago, this stock was 121. If we go way back here, this is way back in 2021 as well. This is the end of the year. So, this is 165. So personally, I don't really look at this stock where I'm trying to go to like back to maybe $100 or anything like that. Could it? Yes. But I'm not really trying to have that happen with my ownership. Now I do have about 450 shares at 52.56. $52.56. So I really, it depends on what I'm gonna want to get. Okay, so for example, if it goes to let's see, if this stock goes to, let's say, $67. So just literally 20, let's see, 20 days ago, it was at 67. So even at 67, remember, I'm making $450 for every dollar it goes up. So if I can get $20 on this stock, that's 20 times 450. That's not bad. Okay, so right now it's not really doing anything. But now let's get into me sharing some information with you about the stock and why I'm not really worried about this whole China thing. Let me tell you why. First of all, Nike is a top 25 global known corporation. It's in the top 25 as the, as a known power play corporation. Nike manufactures in Vietnam. Vietnam is one of the best places to manufacture your product. Now, the good news for Nike is they get their supplies from China, which they're never going to have a problem getting their supplies from. They are 42 hours or 47 hours. If you were to drive from Vietnam to China, you could get there in 47 hours. Nike has their own trucks. So Nike can literally drive to China, pick up all their supplies, and drive it back to their facility in Vietnam. Now, when Nike manufactures in Vietnam, there's not going to be any shortage whatsoever of their product, of the materials. When they make those products, they now have 90 days because Vietnam receives only 10% tariffs with the United States for 90 days. So they're going to be able to manufacture the product and ship it to America and load up stockpiles for like a whole year of supplies and get as many supplies as they can to their American warehouse. Once it's in their warehouse, they also can do it with Amazon. So they can have all of their products ready to go with Amazon. So Nike has time to prepare for a large amount of production. So they can only have to pay 10% on the tariffs over the next 90 days. Now, what's going to happen after the 90 days? Most likely, Vietnam's going to be hit around the 15% tariffs. Anything that Nike has to do is bump up their prices to equal what the tariffs are costing them more. So if it's 15%, they're going to add that onto their pricing. But here's the good news. Everybody's going to have to do that. Everybody. So what Trump is basically doing is this. What Trump's doing is he's forcing China to be on an even playing field with companies like Vietnam, with countries like Vietnam, countries like South Korea, countries like America. Like, we're not really going to manufacture and have the prices that we can compete with China, but these other countries that manufacture, countries like Thailand, for example, what we're doing is by keeping the tariffs high on China, it causes them not to be able to get their products to America so cheaply. So if you're having to force them to raise their prices to pay for the tariffs, it causes the money to be more expensive. There's not as big as profits. If you manufacture your product in America, you won't have the cost of those tariffs. So even if our hourly wage is greater, so let's say we're paying workers here $20 an hour to manufacture a product. And over in China, they're paying their worker $3 a day. But the tariffs are so expensive that when China sends the merchandise here, they are going up so high on the price because they have to pay for the tariffs. So it kind of helps with the leveraging. Now, what could China do to other countries like South Korea, Vietnam? Well, China could increase their material cost to those countries, but I don't really see how that would benefit so much China. Like, yes, it will help them, but what good is it if China can't get their own products here? The only thing they're basically doing is they're helping countries like Vietnam and South Korea with supplies. So they still are going to have revenue of supplies. And those countries like South Korea, um, Taiwan, um, all Thailand, all those countries, a lot of those countries, United Kingdom, Europe, the European market, Germany, all those countries, they all buy products from China. So China's still going to be able to sell their products over there. So but the difference is though, is the United States is China's number one. So I do believe that China, I don't know why they're trying to act big and bad and powerful. I don't understand why that they're not coming to the table. I think that they feel right now that they don't want to show that they're desperate. They don't want to be told or embarrassed or take any responsibility on the way that they've conducted business, the way they've taken advantage of the United States. This is not China's fault. This is the United States' fault for being a bunch of chumps and allowing this to happen. This should have never happened. And it happened because of bribery. China has literally bribed the people in power in the United States. Because those same people lost their power when Trump became elected, it is now changed. And they don't like it. China does not like it. So they're going to have to surrender and make it an equal playing field. So if China comes here and China's consistently making $2 billion a day in trade, the United States is going to make $2 billion a day in trade. Instead of it being like $2 billion to China and only a certain party gets kickbacks, which was the Democratic Party. It's very clear that the Democratic Party between Biden, Obama, that whole administrations have been the ones that put us in a very bad situation. It's pretty obvious that those are the ones that are getting the kickbacks. So, my thoughts on Nike. I think that if you buy Nike and you hold Nike, I see you getting at least $20 per share. I think that you can get $20 per share. So there was a video. That I think Jeremy over there, Financial Freedom or something like that. There was a video that I saw of his about Nike, and that was about 90 days ago. It was three months ago. He made a video about Nike. And at the time, he was buying shares, and Nike was $76. So let me see if I can find it here for you guys, so you can see if it's perfect for what I'm telling you on the timing. He bought it at $76. Okay, so right here, 76, and that was March 10th. Okay, so this is a month ago. This was $76, but he made the video 3 months ago. So let's look at 3 months ago. Yeah, like this is 2 months ago. Yeah, he made it right here, guys, around February 4th, which is, well, this is only 2 months ago. He made it 3 months ago, which is right about here, right about this time right here. It was like $76 when he made that video. And he was convincing everybody to buy it. Now, in his defense, he didn't know anything that was going to happen about these tariffs. That's not his fault. He was just looking at it and saying, hey, I think that 76 is a good price for Nike. Well, guess what? We're getting it for literally $22 cheaper. than what he thought was a good deal. $22 cheaper. I bet you he wishes that he would have bought now instead of 3 months ago. But again, he did it based on the market being here, and he was looking. Now, if you look at a 5-year deal, okay, here's Nike. I mean, we're at the all-time low of Nike. So, he's looking at it. Jeremy's looking at it like, hey, here's the center. Here's pretty much the center for this stock, which is about the 120 range. And Jeremy's looking at it as, if I buy it for $76, I can get at least $100 for this stock eventually. So now we have this tariff thing. And so I just look at the tariff as you're getting a discounted price for all the stuff that's going on. There's too much money to be made between America and China. There's no way that they don't go to the table eventually. China just feels disrespected right now. And they're the type of leadership, they don't care about their people. They don't care about their people. They don't. They care about their party, their Communist Party. They care about their power, and they're very wealthy because of America. America is what made China wealthy. It's a fact. Now, it doesn't mean that they didn't work hard and build all these factories and have their people provide us with products. America benefits from that. It helps our economy. It's just that we're looking for a structure to say, look, you bring your products here, we're going to buy them, but you're going to pay us 20%. America's pretty much just getting the 20% up front because we know we can, and we know that we're looking at it as a transaction fee for us to continue to support your products and buy your products. Because after all, your products are getting you rich, and it's building your military. So when you become a threat to America, we finally are scratching our head and say, okay, what can we do to reduce how much income you're making and allow us to make money with you? And that is fair trade. So I do believe Nike's going to be fine. I think that when the day comes and there's a deal negotiated and it's a fair deal for both parties, I think you'll see Nike get back to that 76 range, and it could literally happen in a week or 2 weeks' time. It's very possible. So could it go lower? Sure. Any negative news whatsoever that would cause Vietnam suffering would really affect Nike. If there's something that was to happen to Vietnam where China shuts off Vietnam because Vietnam is not buying or Vietnam is not cooperating with China, of course, that could create a problem for Vietnam because a lot of them get their products from China. So, but I don't think that the Chinese want to do that right now. They can't piss everybody off, at the same time. They need to rely on South Korea, Vietnam, Thailand, European market. They need to rely on them right now desperately to have a source of revenue flowing and their products being shipped. They can't refuse to make products for those countries right now. That would kill them. So anyway, guys, that was a great talk. Now, this is a new channel. So if you like the content, I'm going to be covering a lot of stocks that I'm in. I will be showing you my portfolio so you can actually see that my transactions are real. I don't have anything to hide. If I speak about it, I back it up by purchasing what I'm telling you about. So there's a lot of stocks too that I like, but they're not quite ready for me to make a dive in yet. But when the time is right, we're going to make a lot of money on these stocks. So I recommend that you subscribe and watch the channel, and give me a like, and let's hope that I can build this channel up. Thanks, guys.